Hello! Good morning, good night, or good evening, folks. Today we are doing another ship review. And today we are reviewing the Tier 7 Premium ship, Nuevo de Julio. Nuevo de Julio. Nuevo de Julio. Nuevo de Julio. Blah, 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 blah. Nuevo de Julio. You know what I mean. That's this ship. Nuevo de Julio. That's stuck on my tongue. But the Julio is one of the few Pan Am premium ships. Oh, I don't have the extended tree available. Ew. So basically, I have most of them. The only one I'm missing is the Juron, the Tier 6 Pan Am destroyer, which is basically the Tier 6 Gallant British destroyer, but basically a Pan American. Not basically the exact same everything, so you're not missing much. If you have a Gallant, you don't need the Julian. Like the Nuevo is basically a Helena or Boise. Unless you want a crew trainer and you don't have the Atlantico, or aren't going to pick up that new Pan Am cruiser that's coming out in literally in the next week or so. The Almirante Gruian, I believe. I'm mispronouncing the name. But this ship is a very viable alternative. And would be a lot cheaper too. So let's get into her stats. Again, I made a mistake and I put all these on here. And these were meant to be for the Ignacio battle. But I screwed up. But with that military contributor flag, you get 5% to credits, 55 to ship XP, 65 to commander XP, and then with a clan you get 50%, so 100% of free XP. And since it's the premium, it does come with the economic bonus package already included, so you don't have to worry about that. Armor-wise, it has 16mm bows, 16mm plating on its side. Its deck is basically 25mm, so HE susceptible, and basically squishy. So let's pull away some of this armor for you. That's the Citadel. And as you can see, it is above the waterline, okay? So let me bring up the Americans for you. We're just going to go to cruisers. Okay, here's the Helena. Basically, exact same armor models. Let's bring all the armor back up. Yeah, basically it's the exact same armor on the Helena. No difference. And we have Boise here too. The Nuevo was originally USS Boise, named after the capital of Idaho, which is Boise. Which is, if you're from Idaho, like I was born, this ship holds a very special place in my heart. Because it's the only ship that is named after Idaho. Unless you have Battleship Idaho, which we don't have in the game. So, again, this ship has sentimental value for me and anyone that's from Idaho or Pacific Northwest. But, I mean, like you can say, it has 16, it's 25. It's basically the armor from the Boise to the Helena to the Julio are basically the exact same. Okay, so all your battleships, let's pull some of that armor away for you, can basically go straight through your bow and hit your Citadel. So, you got no armor. So you have to take that into account. And you can be death struck in this thing. So basically, yeah. Again, for health pool, I do run survivability expert since this is my Ignacio captain. So for this captain, for the Pan Am cruisers, this is a 16-point captain. So I do incoming fire alert, consumable enhancements, adrenaline rush, concealment expert, superintendent, and survivability expert. I'm honestly thinking for the rest, I don't feel like I need top grade gunner or outnumbered. Because it's just so dang squishy. And HE SAP doesn't do anything, and you can't take heavy AP, so I'm thinking probably priority target, last stand, and probably that, which would be basically 4 points. And then maybe that. If you wanted to take those off and put it into like some AA, or if you honestly wanted to, you can run some anti-sub capabilities and then do Last Stand. But I know Last Stand I would recommend because let's look at the Ignacio for a second, because that is the captain that's being built. 25mm armor. Basically everything you'd be facing can overmatch you and basically knock out your runners. So that's why I would run it like that and build that captain specifically like that. Okay, well, let's get back to the Julio. Oh, wait, we do need to look at one more thing. So with survivability expert, Julio has 36,450. Okay. Helena, fully upgraded, has 33,300. Boise, 33,300. So Nueve would basically get the exact same health without survivability expert. Okay, so again, nothing special. Gun-wise performance, these are the exact same guns you'd have on Boise and Helena. So you'd get a 10-second reload, 10-second switch time without gun feeder, 18 seconds to do a 180, 118 to dispersion range, and 13.6 kilometers in range. Now, Helena does get more range than both Boise at 14.6, and Boise gets the same as Nueve. So you are losing a significant amount of range. You're losing about a little bit of range compared to the Helena, but again, the Boise and the Nueve get a super heal. So, and Helena doesn't. So that's why you get reduced range. But again, max HE damage 2200, 12% of fire, 25mm armor pen. The shell velocity at 762 on the AP and 812 on the HE. These are pretty floaty shells, so they're going to have a long arc to them. Now the AP damage at 3200. It's not much, but when you average it over 2 or 3 citadels, that adds up. And yes, the armor pin's only 25mm on HE, but you're pumping out, like I said, 15 shells every 10 seconds. So 15 times that's at least 150 shells a minute. So you can imagine that out of all those shells plus, you're gonna get some fires in there. So don't take. I mean, you can run IFHE, but again, remember that cuts your basically destroys your HE. You do go up to 31mm pin, but do you want to have more raw damage or do you want to have fires? It's however you want to run it. Now, AA wise, you're not missing much. She gets 8 dual mount or Leica machine guns, 6 dual mount 40mm bofers, 4 times 4 quad mount bofers, and then she gets the classic 8 5-inch guns. Continuous damage 264, 1300, 30 for shell explosion, 50-second priority target range. But then we have the range 4.8. That's pretty bad. These all look great on paper, but that range is what kills you. If it was 5.8, it would be a little bit different. But 4.5 or 4.8, that's pretty bad. Let's look at Helena. Helena gets 5.8, and Boise gets 4.8. So, same. Again, you do suffer a lot when you take the Helena. I mean, you gain a lot when you take the Helena. I mean, overall, the Helena, I think, just is a little bit better AA boat, but it's not much. But, I mean, again, it all comes down to trading range for the super heal. That's the main difference. Max speed, 30 knots, 690 turning circle, 7.3 rudder shift. Helena, the stock one. So let's put the hull on there for you so you can compare it. Without the module, so you probably have around the same rudder shift, a little bit tighter turning circle, or I think it's the same. Yeah, a little bit tighter turning circle, and you're about 3 knots slower. Same with Boise. I mean, you're basically having the exact same stats as Nueve. You're 3 knots slower than Helena, but again, it's that super heal. That's why these ships were so reduced, is because of that super heal. Now, concealment-wise, 10.4. Same for Boise, Helena. Let's see if I don't have a captain, so we can assume that it would be the same for Helena. But again, 10.4 isn't much. This is like the whole light cruiser line is basically built to basically hug islands and just spam shells, because you're going to adopt that style when you go from Helena to the Cleveland, and that's pretty much the play style. Now, for equipment wise, I know I said the AA shit or crap or whatever, but I still take auxiliary armaments because I still like to have some AA. Just in case. Now, I do take damage control mod 1, aiming systems, of course, and then rudder shift, just for a little bit extra. And then for consumables, you do get Def AA or Hydra. Of course, always take Hydra. There's no ifs or buts. And then you get 4 specialized repair teams with Superintendent. 3 without it. So, manage your heals conservatively, captains. But let's get into the replay. Wait, I forgot one more thing for you, folks. The camo. She doesn't get any pretty camos or any alternative camos. This is basically what she gets. She's still a very beautiful ship. I mean, if you want a big gunboat that does the job, this ship does it real well. And doesn't rely on a funny button or anything. This is, I would honestly call it, even though the new Pan Am Cruiser's coming out like next week or in a week or two, I would honestly recommend this one just because the DPM's better, and you don't have to rely on a funny button. Plus, you get a heal. This is the more superior ship, no doubt about it. I mean, I love this ship. 500,000 XP in it, so she's a good ship. But let's get into that replay, and I'll show you how to do it. Hello, and welcome to the Nueve de Julio review. Now, Nueve de Julio is basically a Boise and a Helena, but premium for the Pan American cruisers. Now, as you all know, I usually don't do full, divisions, but this one was, just one of those days. And, I meant to actually take out my Ignacio, like Mr. Ricky here, but I honestly screwed up. I took out the Nueve, and I thought I put boosters on it to basically, put it on the Ignacio to get some XP on it. But I realized, crap, when I entered battle, I was like, I thought I put the Ignacio. I thought I did the Ignacio. I took the Nueve. So this was just one of those matches that happened, but never was meant to happen. So it just went really well. Plus, I was trying to make as you all know, I do like to play my DDs a certain way on this map. I've been trying to develop a new aggressive cruiser tactic. That will allow people to get really aggressive, be in that really close positioning to get that high amount of damage. But I think I can make this work in a Cleveland, a Helena, a Boise. Anything that has a lot of DPM, I probably can make this work again. But I'll have to test it out. But it ended up being such a really good match. And as far as the team goes, I'm teamed up with Calfee in his Shikaku, Jin in his Richelieu, Wolf in his Renown, Ricky and the Ignacio. I haven't really played with Shipness that much, but he's in a Baltimore. And then I got Glenn down here in a Gorizia. The reason we're running some of these ships today is because everyone knows that it's they have that exchange thing with the Gorizia and the Holland and the Tashkent. Now I will be picking up the Tashkent. I have enough coal sitting around, and the only other coal ship I really want is the Brisbane coming out. So I got time to restock my coal. So I'll more than likely pick up the Tashkent. But I mean, you can see, you know, the Nueva's not a bad ship. I really did enjoy this ship. I got it back when they first brought out the Boise and the Nuevo. And if you bought one or the other ship, you could get the Boise or the Nuevo for free. Well, I bought the Nuevo because I didn't need an American premium ship. So I bought the one ship I figured would be needed. So I bought the Nuevo to help train crews. So this was actually the very first Pan-American ship, I believe, in the game. It was either that or the Juron, but there's not a lot of them. The really only good ones is the Nuevo and the Atlantico. Really, those are the really only good ones. Maybe the Juron, if you get lucky, but if you wanted to do it for ops or just some randoms in general, Atlantico or Nuevo. And you do see that Nuevo does get that super heal. She gets a super heal. Not many cruisers at tier 7 get a super heal. And the DPM that the ship gets. So, it's a pretty good trade-off. But I mean, you can see the range at only 13.6. That's not great range. So, and this is where I start trying to develop my aggressive cruiser tactic. But it is a very dangerous tactic also. Now, our Ricky does get, well, slapped by the battleships. But I honestly didn't blame him at all. I mean, yeah, bot's a pretty good aim for sure. But honestly, the Ignacio is just... I would honestly consider that out of every Pan Am cruiser in the game, Nuevo is probably the tankiest and the hardest to sink. And yeah, she gets basically the same heals as the tech chip ones, but remember, this thing also has American armor. So we're talking Helena armor, but basically a Nuevo. Or Boise. Plus it has better DPM. And you get HE unlike the tech chip ones, which I honestly feel like they should have had HE. Because the amount of DPN that they put out is so weak, the tech ones. And I am working on the Ignacio one. I am working on the Ignacio review, folks. It's just taking me a lot longer. Because it is such a difficult ship to find decent footage for. Now you see, I am angled, but I still managed to take a Citadel straight into that angle, or a pretty good chunk mount. And you'll see why I picked this positioning.
An enemy ship has entered the base area. Destroy her.
Now back in the day when the Clemson would enter the base, that would basically be, you know, game over because it would just target the airfield. Now it goes for the two little buildings, then the airfield. But Glenn there gets a very beautiful shot and picks up the Clemson, so good shot. He must have been pretty full health. So he must have got a really good hit on that. And I was watching the guns to see where they turned. Because I was slightly worried. Fortunately, the back turrets didn't turn around. Now, see, this is why I went into this position. I have AP loaded, and I put up my Hydro. And I'm basically going on these Omahas.
The ship is on fire.
A nice, you know, 8K salvo there. Not great, but still not bad. Now, I do DCP that fire, but then I realized I decided to turn back in. Because I want to get a fire on me, but at the same time, use it to have the Omaha shoot HE at me, and then, you know, I use the AP when they shoot AP at me, I then bounce the AP. Now, we were just wrecking these cruisers down. I mean, you can see how the strategy would work. But it really only works really good if you get most of the damage. Let's be honest. But I've always... As you know, I have a really great DD strat for this, but I want to come up with something a little bit more aggressive. And I feel like this could work. Because you can hear the AP bouncing. My aim is just not good, though. My aim is off. But you can see that the Nueve does have a fairly consistent, you know, reload and everything. And I do delete that one. That was a good hit. And with the Hydro, you know, I avoid these twists. Had I not, I would have died. But you see, I don't have to worry about my health because I have that super heal. I can just heal back like the majority of that damage. So I'm not worried. And I'm at, you know, almost 90,000. It's respectable for a tier 7 cruiser. Now I have my guns turned this way just in case they come off until I know where they're going to go. Because I am in their detection zone. That's why I'm saving my heal. But then I see them start to head off that way and I know where they're going. And then I just swing my whole ship around. I pop a super heal, and I have AP loaded.
Proceed to evacuation. Protect the aerodrome until embarkation is finished.
Now, you could have also kept the heal off and used the DPM advantage from the adrenaline rush, but it's best to be safe. I mean, we're only, what, 10 minutes in? And this also works for another positioning, too. Is that, you know, the Whiskey group of destroyers that come, it puts you in a fairly decent position to kill them in a cruiser real fast. I would honestly like to try this strategy again, but in a Bagration. A Bagration, an Irian, or try something a little bit different. You see, I'm just getting solid pins on this Pensacola, because my shells are just arming straight into him. And I get a nice little citadel there. Once you get the aim and the range on these guys, then it goes pretty easy. And you see, yes, I do have incoming fire alert also, so I am aware of when shots are coming. Just to be safe. And I do pick up the Pensacola with the Citadel. And like right there, I went up about 30,000 damage. I did blow up the engine though, on that Omaha. But I don't pick up the kill, I believe. I think because the Baltimore just has better velocity. And I just overpin on most of my shells. But I'm in a really good spot. I decided to stay in this position because the DDs. If they spawn on the other side, I can still kill them. If they spawn on this side, I'm in an even better position to kill them. It's a risky maneuver, but it works. But I would only try this tactic if I had a full man, or at least had 4 people I could count on. Odds are I wouldn't try this on my own.
Attention. We intercepted enemy communications.
And you see right there, they pop right off to my side, so I'm able to just put high explosive right into them. I mean, that's like, what, 4K right there? And 4K on a DD adds up. Got a fire, incapacitated its torp tubes. I think our Baltimore was kind of a little afraid, so he ran away, because he is taking fire from all those guys. Now, I do pick up the first one with the secondary.
Enemy destroyer foundered.
And then I decided to switch back, because it is still pretty full health. And boom, it's gone. But I'm also beached, so, and I do have a fire on that one, on that other destroyer, so I do decide to just shoot a random shell in it. I get a single shot, or shell hit, and he dies to my fire. But then I have Cleveland shooting at me, and he has a massive health advantage. 46,000 to my, well, 14,000. Fortunately, someone hits him. I get a fire on him. Fortunately, you know, our Richelieu is there, and he's taking all the fire. Let's face it, if he hadn't been there, I would have been dead, because everything would have been shooting at me. So sometimes having a full division can have its merits, I'll be honest. Plus, you can also put your biggest boosters on for free XP, ship XP, and just grind a ship real quickly. Now, I do pick up the Cleveland and natural selection there. And I'm trying to get out of here, but because I'm worried about that. I didn't see. All he has to do is, like, take a look at me, and I go down. In hindsight, I probably could have stayed and shot longer, honestly. But you can see the guns are slightly turning. So I was like thinking, okay, they're slightly turning towards me. So I was wanting to play it safe, because remember, this thing does have a citadel above the waterline, and doesn't take much to hit it. So it's like, do you play cautiously or not? But, you know, Wolf in his renown is out there. So he's taking most of the fire, so I decided to go out and back out and help him.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Designated targets destroyed.
Enemy battleship detected.
I wasn't even paying attention when I was playing this to the number of kills I had. I wasn't even paying attention to the kill count. I was just focused on trying to live. Because my super heal can't do anything for me anymore. I've taken so much permanent damage that the super heal is basically useless now. So I can't use it. I think they're talking about the shooting bug or some kind of bug. I wasn't following that conversation. I know there is a shooting bug though. I've seen that happen multiple times. In randoms and everything. From my Bonk Z friends in Bonky. I do pick up the Dallas. Basically a kill secure at that point. Now, yes, I could have gone a little bit to the heal circle, but I know that my friend Wolf is out here, and well, I wanted to try something that I've never really tried before. I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to get some more damage. I just didn't think I would get the damage I would get. Those would have all hit had, the Greasy not taken it, but it's whatever. Fortunately, those were aimed at Wolf and not me. Now, I decided to just fire on this, because that smoke screen there is just blocking his line, and I can just fire with impunity. And right there, I get a double fire on him. He DCPs it. So all I got to do is get another fire on him, and it sticks.
Many thanks.
Now I am slightly detected, but since Wolf is out here, I'm not taking as much. It's only the Missouri that really worried me. And there, I do get a fire on him, the Missouri. And you see the incoming fire rate is just going like crazy because it registers like the shell from 0.45 kilometers out, 4.5. I got 2 fires on the Missouri, so those are permanent. So he's going to take full 60-second fires on those. And I decided to go back to the Missouri. Just because. Get some more damage on him. Because he's literally. Now. It's slightly annoying though. I do get a 3rd fire on him. That does tick. But I mean, like, you can't see them because they're in the smoke. Which is kind of annoying. I do pop my last heal to get whatever health I can. Yeah, but I mean, 15 fires and 9 kills.
Embarkation is finished. Operation successful.
Another 2 fires. And 255,000. Still a very respectable match.